So here we would like to talk about slightly different case where we're using this elseif statement. So previously what we had was something like this. If this logical expression was true, we will run here. If this was false, we will run the other part, then we end it, right? But what if we want to check one more time? So if this was true, we will run the statement group number one, but if this was false, among those other cases, we would like to check one more time with a different condition. So among those, if this was true, I would like to try that. But if this was false, then it goes down here to run the other statement group, and then it ends. So you're like filtering multiple times. If you're filtering first here. If this was true, then you go down here to run this one. However, if this was false, goes here. And then among the ones that did not meet this condition, you're checking one more time with a different logical expression. If this is true, you run here. If this was false, you go to this portion, and then you end it. Okay? So that's slightly different from the if-else statement we had. If this was true, you do this. If this was false, you do that, and then that's it. But other than that, if this was false, then you go here to check one more time. So you're filtering and filtering again. And you can do this thing for multiple steps. Like for example here, you're checking for the first condition. If this was true, then you're going to run this portion. If this was not if this was not true, then it goes down here. And among them, you're checking one more time. If this one was true, you'll run here. Else, down here, you're checking one more time. If this was true, then you're going to run this portion. And if it was false, it goes down here. It goes down here again. And then if this portion was true, if this expression was true, you're going to run here. So you're filtering, filtering, filtering out, filtering out, filtering out, something like that. And eventually, if none of them meets the condition, then you're going to run the statement group down here and end it. Okay? So based on that, how about you guys try this example here? And want you guys to try use this else if clause. And here shows the flow chart for this letter grade system. So if your grade was greater than or equal to 90, and if this was true, then your letter grade is going to be an A. And then you end this, thing, right? But if your grade was not greater than or equal to 90, then it goes down here and you're checking uh, against 80. And if this was true, you're getting a B. If not, you're going down here. You're checking again with 70. If your grade was greater than or equal to 70, then you get a C. Otherwise, go down here to check whether it's greater than or equal to 60. If that's true, you get a D. Otherwise, a letter F is going to be assigned, right? So let's try to realize this thing in MATLAB. So here, close all. Then we will need a letter grade. Let's say your grade is given as 95. Then if my grade was greater than or equal to 90, then my letter grade is going to be an A. Else if my grade was greater than or equal to 80, my letter grade is going to be a B. So this has to be 80, right? And else if my grade was greater than 70, my letter grade is going to be a C. Else if my grade was greater than 60, my letter grade is going to be a D. And else my letter grade would be an F. And we end it. Okay, so we can test it. Grade like that. So we can test this thing by running it, and we can display the letter grade at the end. So if we test this thing for grade 95, we expect to see an A, and we run it, it displays an A. If I try this thing for grade 87, it displays a B. And if I check this thing for grade 59, it displays an F. Okay, does that make sense? Another thing that I would like to talk about here is, take a look at this code. So for this grade 95, you need to go through all these the lines to display the letter grade. And for another grade, you need to go through this again. For another grade, you need to go through this again. So to check the letter grade of these three cases, you need to write a very long, tedious code. Okay, and this part is basically being repeated and repeated. So here we can create another function. So instead of running this portion up front, what I'll try is I'll try another. I'll try creating another function. So function, and my output is function name. Let's say the name of the function is letter grade, and it receives an input, which is a grade. We end it like that, and we're running this portion inside the function. So instead of running all this calculation or all this logic in the main file, I would like to provide the grade to the function. So grade is going into this function called f underscore letter grade. And then this grade will be utilized here to find out the letter grade. And this letter grade is going out as an output like this. So we can create a function that looks like this. We can save this guy just like that. And now we can utilize that function here. So instead of all this line, what we can try is copy and paste like that. Down here is by doing the function, using the function. And here, instead of running all this, we can just run f letter grade, and I'm providing 95 as input. And this guy will generate a letter grade for us. So by doing these two lines, we can basically replace the whole thing down here. So 95 is as 95 goes in as input to this function, so it goes to here, and 95 is accepted as an input called grade, and this grade is being utilized inside here, and in our case here, 95 was the grade. So 95 is being compared to 90 and it meets this condition. So letter grade is assigned as A. So this letter grade is going out as an output and that goes out and be assigned over here. And this value is displayed. So if we run this thing, we will see an A is being displayed. And we can, let's say, for here we had 95, 87, and 59. So 95, 87, and 59. So by running this portion, we get A, B, and F displayed. Okay, so instead of having all these up front ran in the main workspace, we can move this portion into the function, just like here, so that all this portion is computed inside the function. And in the main space, you keep your code relatively simple and straightforward. Okay, so that this can be another small tip for enhancing your the readability and maintenance of your code. All right, any questions? Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.